Mrs. Wasileski-Vernetti, what are we learning today? Well, kids, something wonderful. The topic that we are studying today is semicolons. So please write that at the top of your note sheet and get ready to begin. First of all, what's the first reason that we might use a semicolon? Well, let's see. To join two independent clauses, also known as sentences. Basically, when you have a semicolon, you need to make certain that you are connecting two sentences that have a subject and a verb on each side. Otherwise, it would not make any sense. For example, you can write this in the example slot. This novel is fantastic. It has wonderful imagery. Please note that novel is on the left is the subject verb, and on the right it has is the subject verb as well. Please note that you do not want to have two sentences that are completely unrelated. You want to make certain that they have something to do with one another and are closely related. You would never want to say, today is a rainy day, semicolon, I love hamburgers. Just would not make sense. Okay, the second reason you might use a semicolon is to join two independent clauses with a parenthetical expression. Remember, parenthetical expressions are basically those words that make us sound just a little bit smarter. Like however, nevertheless, moreover, therefore, in my opinion, I believe. So when you use one, you want to have a semicolon, the expression, followed by a comma. For example, this novel is historically inaccurate. Semicolon, however, comma, it is well written. Once again, we have the subject verb, novel is, on the left, and the subject verb, it is, on the right. And note that if we have the however there, it's connecting two independent clauses. But if I said this novel is, however, historically inaccurate, I would want to put commas around the however. So right now, please take a second, make certain you've written all of this down, and then write your two sample sentences, modeling after the two that I have. Okay, it is time for a What Do the Dogs Say? Milton, Marvin, do you want a treat? Boys, do you want a treat? Okay, here they come. All right, boys, sit. Milton, sit. Marvin, sit. Sit. Okay, what do the dogs say? Semicolons add variety and sophistication to your writing, but never, ever overuse them. All right, thank you, boys. Very, very helpful. Continuing on to the last little bit here, what are some don'ts with semicolons? Well, first of all, this book is boring, semicolon, it needs more action. Never capitalize the first word after a semicolon. 2, she is a famous author, semicolon, but she is a recluse. Never use a conjunction after a semicolon like a fanboy, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And finally, unless you are well-read, semicolon, you won't do well in life. A semicolon should never follow a dependent clause because that is a fragment. It does not have a subject and a verb. Well, it does, but it has the conjunction which turns it into a fragment. Okay, now that you know a little bit more about semicolons, please do the practice in the space below. I want you to incorporate at least 2 semicolons and use 3 of your vocab words to write about a topic of your choice. Well, kids, semicolons, weren't they wonderful?